Okay, anyone else like to talk to us? All right, Mr. Grindstaff, do you have what you need to go do?
I think so, if you'd like.
Yeah,
I think we're trying to integrate some of the stuff that we got from Hank and the comments we got from you about evaluating risk. And, well, there are a whole lot of comments here.
Yeah, I just want to reinforce one for mine. If you're serious about this, let's get consultants on the organization of it now, not wait until the end of the Delta plan. There is not enough time unless we do that. Okay, let's go to water quality policy number, this is page 31, members, page 31, water quality policy. This is Mr. Ray, I think. No?
It's
Joe?
me again.
Okay, Mr. Grindstaff.
Hey, Joe, can I recommend option 4? See if there's any appetite for that.
Which says don't add a new water quality policy. We had a number of comments in the plan. You can recommend that, yes, Mr. White?
It was just a question. If the council wants to pursue it further, then I'm all in favor of that, but just to...
Yeah, I am interested in hearing your explanation of the policy itself and the value added that it brings to the process. I understand it is, in part, people say, well, you don't even have a regulation on water quality, you must not treat it seriously. I'm with Randy. If there is a comprehensive regulatory scheme in place, even if it's not working well, that may be a rational approach for not doing it. But you've got a different idea, and I want to hear that explained.
Okay. First of all, in the third line, it's supposed to be...
Yeah, it's not a complete sentence. I thought
it's not a complete sentence, and part of the sentence got left out. It's supposed to be as identified in the applicable State Water Resources Control Board or Regional Water Quality Control Board water quality control plans. So it was, I'm sorry, a typo that somehow just that line got cut out at one point. So, and the proposed policy is that actions shall identify significant negative water quality impacts and avoid or mitigate those impacts to the maximum extent practicable. And we actually do use the state and regional boards to say, for purposes of this policy, avoiding or mitigating may be demonstrated by compliance with the regional board plans, policies, discharge requirements, and waiver conditions. The thought was there may be cases where there are no plans that cover the issues, but that are no standards that apply, but there are basin plans, and if somebody does something that impacts water quality that is a covered action, but that doesn't have to demonstrate compliance with the state or regional boards, that this would make sure the issue is addressed. If the council wishes to go with option 4 and not have a policy, that's your choice. We had a number of people giving us feedback. I think, in fact, Ms. Marcus is saying, you know, water quality is really important here, and we ought to make sure. Yes, so we had a number of people suggest that given that the legislation actually identifies water quality specifically as something that we're supposed to address, that to just have recommendations and totally rely on the regional and state board was not appropriate.
Okay, Mr. Stevens.
Well, I was just going to suggest, Joe, that maybe you could ask Dan if he could come in. I think your question was, what is the value added here, and what Joe outlined, you know, the voids perhaps that we could be filling. And Dan actually has some real world examples.
Yeah, well, this is in part in response to the policies recommended by the Delta Protection Commission in their Delta's Place proposal, which included provisions that would protect water quality for agricultural and industrial uses in the Delta. And they pointed out that there were no water quality policies, so that would even refer back to the protection of water quality adequate for existing uses in the plan. And so part of what we were trying to create was a policy basis for the council staff even to comment on environmental documents or otherwise be involved in regulatory processes before the board that would affect water quality in a way that would degrade existing uses, whether that was fisheries or agriculture or other activities, recognizing that in most cases the water board will be the agency with the regulatory authority in that area, and we should defer to them. We had that discussion yesterday, but there are perhaps some areas where the water board doesn't have standards today. One thing I could think of is fills and riparian areas, where there's the beneficial uses, the water, the water quality beneficial uses would be tied to protection of the riparian area, and yet currently California's laws don't cover that. Now, there would be fills in vernal pools. We've got portions of the Jepson Prairie that are within the delta that if the Corps' regulatory authority over those wetlands, and of course some people contest that they're not wetlands that ought to be regulated by the United States, if it turned out that there was no regulatory authority over that, then this would provide a basis for the council to review that as a covered action. This is based a lot on the approach that's used in the San Francisco Bay and the coastal zone, where there are basic policies in the Bay Plan and in the Coastal Act about protecting water quality, instructions to those agencies to defer to the water boards where they make regulatory decisions, but a freedom for them to act where they don't. The Coastal Commission, for example, used that to review the impacts of disposing offshore oil drill muds in federal waters outside of the coastal zone where the water board had no authority, and the commission felt there might be damage to water quality that would affect marine resources in the coastal zone as a result of that. So in a way, by having these policies here, it would also provide the council with some stopgap authority in cases where there were holes in the state or regional board's regulatory processes.
Felicia.
I'm just still a little confused, and I just apologize for that. So this is adding a policy, and we're not going over recommendations that you might add to, so that we already have all the things that were in there, including the drinking
Well, actually,
water
I think we're
quality
planning
and
to
all
add some other recommendations, but we wanted to talk about things that we thought would be the most significant, as you directed us last meeting. And so this is the one that we thought was the most significant amongst the water quality changes.
And what were the words that were left out as identified in the applicable?
State and regional board water quality control plans.
Randy.
I just have to think about it. I can't give you an answer on it.
Randy.
I'm not compelled to think that there's a need here. I think CEQA and the regional board rules and regulations they're on it. And I think the presentation we received a few months ago from the regional board regarding dissolved oxygen and how they've reacted to that situation in the Deepwater Ship Channel and the other initiatives that they have employed in the Delta suggests to me that this is a solution that is in search of a problem instead of the other way around.
Okay, let's see if there's any public testimony. Anyone in the audience want to talk? Yes, come forward.
Thanks.